Hello there, this is Lori, and I'm bringing you another LissyKay Special Sauce template with a video to show how to use it with a mask. And thank you very much to Melissa of LissyKay for making these amazing special sauce templates and providing those for free. To begin with, I brought over a photo and I am going to, because I had to flip it, it was sideways, I resized it slightly and I'm going to go ahead and flatten it. And what I'm aiming to do is to fill this mask back here, with the photo, and I'm going to show you a couple of cool tricks, and this is using Artisan 5. To begin with, I am going to copy and paste so that I have this photo twice, and then I will arrange those just so they're on top of each other. And to begin with, we're going to use the top one. You can see over here in the Elements panel, I have that top one selected. This is the one that we're going to begin with. I always go over to my mask at this point and I do right mouse and I copy that mask right there on the template. I don't move it or anything. I've just copied it. Now I'm going to select that top photo, right mouse. I'm going to say Effects and Edit. When I do that, I'll be able to add an effect, and this is when I insert a mask layer. So I'm going to insert the mask right on top of that photo. In the drop down, I am going to choose Paste because I copied that mask to begin with, so I can simply paste it in and we can see it right here, and I'll just say OK. I will OK that, and it doesn't look as though anything changed. But if I take the back photo and I make it invisible, you'll see that it really did change significantly. At this point, I have my photo in the mask, but obviously I don't want, especially my sister, my daughter, and her boyfriend, I don't want their heads to be eaten into by the awesome design of the mask. So this is where I'm going to show you a cool trick on getting the faces back. I'm going to take that back photo again and make it visible, and this time I'm going to work in that back photo. So I've got the back one selected, and although it doesn't look like I have a mask there, it really doesn't matter because that mask is the top one and I'm working on this second one down. And here's the trick. I'm going to say Cut, Custom, and it doesn't really matter if you do straight or curved path, but I find straight path is a little easier to control for myself. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut around the heads of each one of us, and I'm going to stay relatively close to the heads. And what I'm thinking about is to keep the parts of it that the mask had eaten away that I don't want to have that design through the mask. I want to be able to see our faces. And I'm just going to go down my sister's shoulder just a little bit. And at this point, I'm just going to cut kind of straight across like that. But here is the main stuff that I don't want to disappear in the design of the mask. Now I'm just going to say keep the unshaded area because it's the unshaded that I do want, and I'm going to cut. And now you can see that the faces, and if I deselect, the faces are now there and they're exactly in the right place because I had the photos on top of each other exactly lined up. Now at this point, if there are some things that look like they're too not conforming to the mask, I could at this point go in and touch up a little bit. So if I came in here to touch up, if I keep that on that same one that I had cut, if I keep that one selected and I go to Touch Up Erase, one of my very favorite things about Artisan 5 is that I can do this and I can still see the other things. So in this case, I can still see that mask. And what I can do is I can start erasing a little bit. I may have to to play with the diameter and the edges, but what I'm trying to do is to make it so that it looks like the mask is still doing its thing, creating those cool edges, and that I'm not really cutting into it with the photo underneath the way I cut it. So you can see that I'm just sort of trimming up a little bit on what I had cut out. And something like that I think works pretty well. I'll blend in my sister's arm just a little bit more. I'm going to OK this and get it back to where we can see the whole thing. Now what I do from here is I take both of those layers and I am going to go ahead and flatten those together, because at this point I don't need to worry about anything else with it. I can flatten it. I've done all of the tweaking that I want to, but now I have to put it over onto the layout and to fit here. So what you'll find is I have that mask selected, and I'm going to go ahead and select this mask, and if I do arrange and then I make it the same size, I'm going to move it over so you can see what happens. Watch this. I'm going to make it the same size, and if you see that the aspect ratio of that changes, if, for instance, we all got very wide, or maybe we all got very tall and skinny, I may choose to do things a little bit differently. So let me just deselect and show you right mouse aspect ratio. I'm going to restore the original aspect ratio, and you can see that we got a little bit taller and skinnier when we did that. Now, taller and skinnier is not usually a problem. It's if we got shorter and wider that I wouldn't like it. But I'm going to leave it like this with that correct aspect ratio. Again, I'm going to choose the mask. I'll hold my Shift key. I'll click over on this mask, and this time I am just going to position them together, and I'll group and ungroup so they sit at the correct layer. You can see that because I changed that aspect ratio slightly, the mask underneath it doesn't quite line up. Can you see that at the edges? It's not exactly perfect. And here's a secret for you. I love that it doesn't quite match up, because then I can use them in such a way that the design element of the mask that's there is very similar to, but not exactly matching up with, the mask that I put over the top of it. So I just offset it a little bit. I even resize it somewhat so that it sort of comes out behind. And that's exactly what I love to do with it. Now, I just want to show you the page that I've made, the completed page. And on this completed page, I used Hat of Bunny Play Pretend With Me for the kit. And you can see that I've got that mask going on, and I misspelled this. I will just fix it while I'm right here, which is why I very much like having my credits over to the side so that I can just change that and write it in. But you can see how I've got that mask back there, and then I've put a lot of cool elements from the kit sort of overlapping on that mask, basically the way LissyKay has the template set up. And I've added a border around the outside also, and just brought that all together. I wanted it to look like it was creative and using a lot of imagination and kind of splotchy and painty. I hope this helps show you some cool ways that you can use the masking and really make it exactly how you want it to be for your templates. And you can get this template free if you click on the link that is in the video name. Take care. Have a great day.